Coming to you from the secret location of the shield generator on Endor, this is Final Death Star. Okay, so Bill and Ted Face the Music trailer came out. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, so also because of copyright, infringements or restrictions or whatever the deal is, I'm not going to show the entire trailer straight through. I'm going to show it in pieces, pause it, and talk about it. So I want to break it down and see how similar and different the themes in this movie seem to be from the first two, and see, what matches up, what might not match up. So we're going to kind of break it down. I am a huge Bill and Ted fan. I unabashedly am a huge Bill and Ted fan, so I am biased for this movie. I am excited. This has been my most anticipated movie for this year since they announced it, and I first saw the first images of it a year ago. So yeah, I might be a little biased on the fact that I am in favor of this movie, and based on the trailer, though, I think it looks really good, and I think they're in the right direction. We've seen a lot. The Hollywood trend has been these franchises. The studios take these IP addresses, these franchises that people love, and then they ruin them, distort them, change them, and it's very unpopular with us. So, of course, there's that worry, that they could be doing something like that. But I am hopeful that they're doing the right thing here. It seems like from the trailer and from what I've read, this is something that they've wanted to do for a while. I've been hearing about this for at least 10 years, that Keanu and Alex have wanted to get this movie made. They just were waiting for the right script. There were problems. They had previous versions of this script, and throughout the years, different writers, and they weren't really happy with it, so they finally found something that they liked. So that's reason enough to kind of get behind this. The fact that they've wanted to make this for a while. It's not this, like it's hip to try to make these franchises cool again, so they, just jumped on the train. No. This is something they've wanted to do, but have been holding out because they didn't find the right script. So that's a reason alone, I think. But let's go into it and, kind of break it down a little bit here. So here we go. All right.
Years ago, you played a concert in front of the entire world.
Okay, so let's pause it right here. So 25 years ago, right? So Bill and Ted Bogus Journey came out in 1991. So if we're in 2020, we're assuming the dates are correct. 25 years ago would be about like 94. So in the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, they play the concert, the Battle of the Bands, where they go into the future and bring it kind of gets a little iffy on how this works. They go into the future and then they come back and they're more mature future selves, and then they play the Battle of the Bands. God Gave Rock and Roll to You from Kiss, and they win. Of course, it gets hijacked, and they by the villain in the movie, and they have all these cameras broadcasted all over the world. So they immediately go viral. Basically is what would happen in today's lingo. They go viral back in 1991, and everyone sees the Wild Stallions performing the song. So I'm guessing they get popular. There's a period of time. There's a gap there, right? From 25 years ago, from 1991 to 1994-5, there's a gap there. So they must have gone on with Wild Stallions and fulfilled their plan, that Rufus told them that they were going to write the song and create world peace and harmony and everything. Everything was going to be perfect because of what they were able to do with the music. So I'm guessing they started to go that trend. Obviously, something happened. Now, in this shot here, I think that this is not... in the trailer at this point, they say like 25 years ago you played the last concert, 20,000 people or whatever. I don't think this is a flashback, because you could see they're wearing the same clothes they've been wearing in the trailer. So I think this is probably maybe at the end of the movie. Maybe this is where they play their big song. That's what I'm guessing. Also, if you notice back here on I'm assuming, I'm not sure if that's like I don't know if that's a trumpet or it's kind of hard to see, or maybe it's a clarinet or sax, alto sax would be, I think, or soprano sax. I think that's Ted's dad because, Ted's dad's a police officer. It looks like him, and he's got the police on his chest. So I think Ted's dad is back there. And then I can't tell over here exactly who that is. It looks like it could possibly be a historical figure of some sort, because it looks, the coat looks a little old. Now, it could be from the future, but we do see the future clothing a little bit later. It also looks like a flute. So I'm thinking it's maybe a historical figure. Maybe they go back in the past. I'm wondering if some historical figures from the first movie, Excellent Adventure, show up. I'm not quite sure. I've heard rumors that there might be one or two, but I don't know for sure. So, all right, let's move on here.
1 month ago, you played in Barstow, California for 40 people, most of whom were there for $2 taco night.
Open mic night, 6 p.m., Wild Stallions. Pretty funny. This is what they've been reduced to. So something seriously went wrong from their 25 years ago, their 20,000, audience crowd that they played in front of to Barstow, where they're playing to people there to get free tacos. So something obviously went wrong there. Here we go in the future. So this is a slightly different future than, what we saw in Excellent Adventure. The clothing is, slightly different, although it's still sort of futuristic, but it's not as glitzy and glamoury 80s. The version of the future in the 80s is a little different than what we view the future as now. Clearly, we're not headed in that, glam style future. So, but you see they're kind of all like hovering there, levitating. There's this blue light around them. Maybe they're not really there. It could be like a projection or something, some sort of advanced hologram. It's hard to tell. But they were seated in the first movie, so this is a slightly different future here.
Dad, what have you got to say for yourselves?
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
There's the classic line, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. And, they're kind of going with what they know, I guess. Go with what you know. But it doesn't seem to have quite the same effect it did back then, as we see here by their, reaction. They're realizing, what happened? Where's this future? Last time it was all about, Rufus. It was all about be excellent to each other, party on. They got that. That was from the future is where they came up with that, and they all seemed very happy back then in the 80s version of the future back then, although it was in the future, time travel.
You were supposed to unite the world.
So here is supposed to unite the world. Now look at this. What happened here? If you look at the sign, it's Pasadena. So this is L.A. or right outside L.A., right north of L.A. And something happened there. Traffic. Well, the traffic is pretty normal. That's actually not that. That's typical of LA traffic. But there's obviously a lot more. I think this is some kind of future though, because there's a lot of bridges here that these roads don't exist right now. There's not this many lanes of traffic, although it's not too far off. But it's not exactly accurate. So I think this is some kind of future where something has gone wrong here. Can't really tell too much. It looks like there's a tree on that truck, but I don't know, symbolism. I don't know what that. It just says delays ahead. Yeah, so some kind of future here. Things didn't go well. There's the phone booth. Now this again looks like it's in the future. I don't know if it's the future that they just came from or going to from the previous scene, but it looks like it's in the future there.
Whole life trying to write the song that will reunite the world. Why can't we?
Now there's the daughters, Bill and Ted's daughters. So they, probably they're some sort of role in this movie. We don't know how big the role is. I'd imagine it's probably going to be kind of significant. But looks like she's got a cassette. Either I don't know if that's like a long necklace or it's just a patch on her overalls, and she's wearing, I don't know, some kind of Under Armour. I'm not sure what this shirt is. Under Armour kind of shirt there. And she's recording it probably for the TikTok. She's recording it for the TikTok. Now here you see them in their time. So they're traveling through time like we've kind of seen before, but obviously graphics are a little better now, so it looks a little cooler and more, advanced. If you notice right here though, this was what I'm supposing is probably the telephone booth, but it's not anymore. It looks like a futuristic pod. So I don't know if they're changing that up a little bit, or because obviously the telephone booth wasn't really a telephone booth. They just made it look like a telephone booth, so it fit in with the aesthetics of the culture in the 80s. Telephone booths were around. They're not now. So I don't know if this somehow changes or this is what it really looks like. But yeah, you'll notice it looks more like an egg-shaped kind of thing. You see inside there again, it's a little different than what we've seen before.
Take it from ourselves.
All the guitars in the back there, I wonder if this is like, if they're in some sort of future gone wrong, or if that's all the guitars they've used, like it's like a museum, a Wildton'S museum. Not quite sure there, but I like the idea here. It's like they're going to go in the future and steal. It's very Bill and Ted mentality. We're going to go steal the song from ourselves, and it's not really stealing. It's, logic.
Isn't that stealing?
See, there now they are back in the telephone booth, so.
How is that stealing if we're stealing it from ourselves?
Okay, now there we go. Now this is interesting because they're either in hell here, which is what I'm guessing, because Death is back. Who we love the Grim Reaper, in the Bill and Ted Grim Reaper, not the actual Grim Reaper. But yeah, they look like they're probably somehow gone to hell. It looks like it's his scythe back there to get him, or this is an apocalyptic version of, I don't know, I guess San Dimas. But yeah, in this shot here too, notice we got the Wildton'S, like the jacket there. It's got some memorabilia here. There's, it looks like it's Rolling Stone cover. It's probably them on the cover of the Rolling Stones. We saw all that memorabilia at the end, or all the headlines at the end of Bogus Journey that show like what they went on to do, and Death gets like a cello solo album or something. So it's there's a clipping here too. It looks like, I don't know if it's Washington Post, I think, with them on the cover. You could tell that's them, or on the front page there. So there's some memorabilia back there. Obviously the future that went wrong, or something alternative. I think it's an alternate reality possibly too that we're dealing with here. I think they're going to get into the multiverse kind of, because that's obviously popular now. I think that might be part of it. So here we have this future that they go. They're trying to get the song for their future selves, but clearly something went very wrong. Here we've got what looks more like John Wick on steroids than it does Ted, but this is Bill and Ted here. This is them. You can tell he's got the excellent on his chest tattooed, and then it looks like a heart with, probably his, daughter's name or something, daughter or wife's name. And then Bill's got his heinous, and I think it says Wild Stallions there as well. So something went very, very wrong, and they ended up in a future that was not the future that they went to in Bogus Journey. So that'll kind of have to be explained. Like, what I think it's parallel universe is what I'm thinking. This is the multiverse. In the first movie they travel through time. In the second movie they go to the afterlife, both hell and heaven. And in this movie I think they're going to go through different dimensions or multiverses. So that's what I'm guessing here. This is a different timeline version of themselves.
No way. How'd you like our song? It's a little on the dark side, but that's cool.
So that's it. And that's like a very, it's a very classic Ted thing. It just feels like it's them again. It doesn't feel like it's, two guys who did this role 20, 30 years ago, and now they're trying to live up. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like I'm watching Bill and Ted. So that's what I'm most excited about. So that's it. The trailer, I don't know exactly when it's coming out. It doesn't give a date other than 2020. I think they're waiting for the studios or the theaters to open up again. So I think, we'll just kind of have to wait and see. But hopefully it's going to be in the next couple months. We'll see though. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you like the trailer? Are you excited? This has been my most anticipated movie, so I'm excited, and I think they're doing it right. I just feel like they've got the Cobra Kai version of doing, taking things that we love and not screwing them up, because Cobra Kai's done the best with that so far, the Cobra Kai series, and I think this is going to be like that. So let me know in the comments down below, and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe, share, subscribe, share again. And until next time, until next time, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.